If you think that the ACT Party is a conservative party, it is not a social conservative party. Voted for abortion, voted for the conversion therapy law, pushing euthanasia. And the latest is that the ACT Party are wanting to expand the euthanasia law even further. The first major change is they want to do away with the 6 months. So in other words, any terminal illness qualifies for euthanasia. You may be given 2 years, 5 years, and you can qualify for euthanasia. They say that it's overly restrictive. He does say that it's a prognosis. So this is ACT Todd Stevenson, who you may have never heard of. Overly restrictive prognosis. Remember that a prognosis, even medical professionals will say that a prognosis is not accurate, can be completely wrong. And we know of people who have been given a year to live and have lived up for 10 years. So that's the first problem. He calls it an arbitrary cutoff. It is arbitrary because nobody can predict with certainty. He says that none of the existing safeguards are weakened in his new bill, but that's not actually true. Of course, you've got the 6 months being removed. So this is more of the liberalisation which we predicted. They put all these safeguards in place to trick people over the line, and then they start to expand it. And we'll hear more about that in a minute from Canada. But they say that health practitioners can't raise the issue of assisted dying except as part of discussions of persons' treatment and end-of-life care options. And they're adding a provision that you can publicise and put out public information about assisted dying. So they want more information around the place about it, which of course is going to immediately, make it more aware to the patient. And so therefore it's much more likely to be discussed. Another concern is that there is definite dangers for conscientious objection. The workforce for euthanasia is tiny. It's tiny because most medical professionals want nothing to do with euthanasia. But it looks like they're going to amend the Act to set out what practitioners can conscientiously object to, but that conscientious objection doesn't override duty to act with the Code of Health and Disability Service Consumers' Rights. So you've got the right of the patient, and then you've got the right of the medical professional. And what they're saying is the right of the medical professional isn't as important as the patient's right. So there goes conscientious objection for the 99% of the workforce who want nothing to do with euthanasia. Require care facilities to provide reasonable access to assisted dying. We're talking about old folks' homes, hospices. So there's another red flag. And because they can't get enough workers, they're talking about allowing nurse practitioners to be able to do what medical practitioners, doctors can do. So they're trying to expand the workforce because they can't get enough workers. So yeah, that's Todd Stevenson. Whole lot of red flags around that particular issue. Just to show you, this is the latest data. This is the expansion of euthanasia in just 3 years. Big jump in the last year, but ACT want more of that. And look, this was sent to me over the weekend, and this is from Canada, and they are talking there about MAID, which is medical assistance in dying, which is basically euthanasia, assisted suicide for children and teens, and a committee has recommended this. Remember that Canada has also passed a law enabling euthanasia for mental illness, although it hasn't come into effect yet because there is so much unease with it. But that's just how far Canada is going down the slippery slope. And looking at New Zealand's figures, that's going down the slippery slope. But Todd Stevenson from ACT and the ACT Party want more. Yep, they want more.